A habit means, I know people have been trying to talk to you in terms of good habits and bad habits. There are no good habits and bad habits. All habits are terrible. Because habit means you have learned to function unconsciously, isn't it? Habit means you have learned to function mechanically, unconsciously. Habit means you have learned to live your life without actively employing your intelligence. People are thinking in terms of intelligence means it is to be used when you go to an examination or an interview or do something. No. Intelligence is something that must be in constant use with every moment of your life, isn't it? So once you get into habit patterns, you have chosen to live like a machine, not like a human being. See, the quality of life or the exuberance of life is not in doing big things, in doing little things in a big way, isn't it? Somebody breathes in a big way. Breathing, is it important?
Yes.
Is it important?
Yes.
If it's not important, you stop it. It's important, you do it with utmost intent, with utmost interest and attention to it, isn't it? You're alive, is it very important? Your aliveness, it should happen with utmost attention, isn't it? Right now you've taken it for granted. So, replacing one habit by another habit is not the thing. I want you to understand, I'm speaking very technically. I could make this whole thing into a very sweet teaching. But so many sweet teachings have come to you, and all you will do is you will adore them. Maybe you will even worship them, but it doesn't become a reality in your life. So I am speaking very technically, so that you employ this like a technology. So, seeing that my responsibility is limitless is not a teaching, it's a method. You just employ it. As you employ it, you will see you will only become more and more aware. You can't make a habit out of it. Can you be habitually responsible? It can only happen out of your awareness. So, it's a method, you just use the method. The old patterns of doing things, they have helped you to survive. They have not killed you, they have helped you to survive. But once you've come as a human being, somehow survival is not enough, isn't it? Yes? Is survival enough? Survival is not enough, please see. So if you're just planning to survive, with some habit we can survive. There are many safe habits with which one can survive without getting into too much trouble. But that's not what a human being is looking for. A human being is constantly looking as to how to enhance the experience of his life. See, whatever one may be doing, one is running after money or knowledge or love or trying out all kinds of things, either alcohol or drugs or sexuality, whatever. What is it that you're trying to do? Somehow, the way you are, the experience is not sufficient. You want to enhance your experience, isn't it? Yes? You want to experience a little more of life. How many crazy ways people are trying it? And whatever you do, fundamentally, whether you jump off a mountain or you drink alcohol or you do this or do that, everything, moments of experience are happening to you only because at that moment you have found a deeper level of involvement with life around you at that moment, whatever you're in touch with. Yes? So this involvement, how would it come? I'm looking at it now technically. You have looked at it many ways. If you dance, one moment of involvement makes you feel beautiful. If you sing, one moment of involvement makes you feel beautiful. You fall in love with somebody, a few moments of involvement makes you feel beautiful. Now I am looking at it technically. What is it that breeds involvement in you? It's just your ability to respond, isn't it? How willingly you respond is your involvement, isn't it so? Yes? It's very technical, but it's workable. You need to understand this. Every teaching in the world, whenever people had big experiences in their life, they always express themselves in poetry. You see, all the teachings in the world, all the scriptures in the world are in the poetic form. Is it so? You recite them. Poetry is very beautiful. Why they're jumping into poetry is, see, even for you, suppose you fall in love with somebody, you don't write it in prose, you write it in poetry, isn't it? Because if you write it down in prose, it looks stupid. All your, unreasonable emotions and the way you feel about somebody, you write it in prose and see, it'll look quite stupid. You write it in poetry, suddenly it's beautiful. Because whatever is not logical cannot be expressed in prose. Yes? Your emotions are illogical, aren't they? Aren't they? If you think logically, you can't fall in love with anybody, please see. Isn't it so? Only calculation will come. If you think logically, only calculations, isn't it? What will I get, what will I get, what will I get? When you're thinking what will I get, nothing big will happen to you. So whenever anybody had any big experience within themselves, they always burst forth into poetry. That's why all the scriptures in the world are in the poetic form. Every scripture in the world is in the poetic form. But because of this poetic expression, people adored the poetry, the beauty of it. The people worshipped people who gave forth this poetry, brought forth the poetry. But people could not make it a reality in their lives. So two people who took enormous care not to succumb to poetry, not because they're against poetry, simply because to make it a practical process, were Patanjali and Gautama the Buddha. These two people gave their teaching in the form of sutras. Sutras means like formula. Now 2 parts of hydrogen, 1 part of oxygen, water will come. If a great scientist puts it together, only water will come. If a fool puts it together, only water will come. Yes? So, you do this, this and this will happen in your life. So, these two people expressed everything in the form of formula. Very dry, dull teaching, but easily workable. And these are the two people who have produced the maximum number of enlightened beings on the planet. The yogic systems and the Buddhist way of life have produced the maximum number of enlightened beings on the planet till now, simply because no poetry, dry, dull teaching. There's no life in it, but very easy to apply, because it's like a technology. Everybody here cannot understand art, but everybody here can make use of the benefits of science, isn't it? Yes. Science doesn't have the beauty of the art, but easily workable. So, that's why we are going like this. You can't make a habit out of being responsible, please see this. Can you? You cannot make it. You just remind yourself, you be aware. Being aware is the only way. When you're aware, nothing is habitual. Everything has to happen out of your awareness and intelligence. There is no other way to happen. So what type of action, what you do, has to come from intelligence moment to moment. How you did something 10 days ago may not be relevant today, isn't it so? Yes? But if you become habitual, you will go on doing the same things. Habits are being formed because you are creating values, ethics and moralities. Why have we created these values, ethics and moralities? Simply because we are unable to grasp life the way it is, isn't it? Ethics, morals and values means it is somebody else's understanding of life. Somebody out of their understanding of life said something, we are trying to follow that. That means we have no grasp of life ourselves. Is it so?
Yes.
How you respond to life has to come from your intelligence. You need to understand this. All the great people in the world, you can use them as inspiration in your life, but you can never use their intelligence. You have to use your intelligence, there is no other way. One day, a friend came to Shankaran Pillai's house and requested him, "I want to borrow your donkey for the day, I have some work to do." Shankaran Pillai said, "I've already given my donkey on loan to somebody else." The friend was about to leave, but the donkey brayed from the barn. The friend turned back and said, "The donkey is right here." Then Shankaran Pillai said, "Whom do you want to believe, me or the donkey?" Your action should come from your intelligence, isn't it? Not from your habits. Your habits have been formed because somewhere, right from your childhood, people have been teaching you morality. People have not teaching you ways to employ your intelligence to every aspect of your life. People have been teaching you moralities, ethics, values, because they want you to be like them. They don't want you to be yourself. And they're afraid of you being yourself. Society is always afraid of you being yourself, isn't it? They want you to become like them. If all we want is to create one more generation just like this one, we better end the world, isn't it? We better fossilize these people and keep them. This is how people work and this is how they'll always be. So responsibility, you can't make a habit out of it, nor is it a value or an ethic, it's a method. If you just start responding to everything, you will see you will become more and more alive and